welcome to another edition of Fighting Words on the Fighting Words News Network. Fighting Words is brought to you each and every night of the week. In grateful appreciation to the men and women of the United States Armed Forces, the men and women police and fire services, the doctors and nurses, and first responders for COVID, and the wonderful people in the supermarkets that keep our shelves stocked. Unfortunately, again, this week we're going to have to start the show on a very low note. In York, Pennsylvania, 3 police officers trying to serve a warrant were gunned down. They were set up and gunned down. 2 other officers were shot in Susquehanna, Pennsylvania, which is only about 100 miles away. 2 more police officers were shot and in critical condition. And then over in Brevard County, an off-duty officer just got out of his car at a gas station to fill the car up, and somebody shot him 13 times. Ladies and gentlemen, these are very, very tough times on men and women in uniform. Please, when you get out there, show them some respect. A handshake, an eye wink, anything. Just let them know that you know they're there. A thank you for your service means a million things. You can see the smile come to their face. And so I'm always responding. I'm always thought about this time when we go through these about there is a saying, there's a written article out that says if you don't have the brains or the guts to put on the badge to walk out the door, not knowing whether you'll come back that evening to your family, and you protect and serve to the best of your ability, then if you don't have the guts to do it, don't criticize and don't hurt us. With that said, I want to welcome everybody. Tony, Z, Bob. I hope everybody had a great day, great week. So let's start with Zito with the Crawford fight.
First, I want to say hello to everyone. Good to have everyone back. Definitely. So with the Crawford fight, it was a very good fight for the family. High level physical check for both parties. And Crawford, he won clean. To me, and to the basically time with everybody, he won clean. Because I have a problem with the scorecard, saying it should have been a lot of I thought it was competitive. I thought some rounds that people gave to Crawford, I thought Canelo won. But with that said, Crawford clearly came out. He won. And to me, he won just off of a game plan. He followed a specific game plan on Canelo. And that was, for the most part, when Canelo was set his feet to punch, he gave with Crawford. It always takes time for him to see what his opponent's doing. But what he started saying is that Canelo would have to set his feet definite to punch. And for the most part, Canelo was power punching. It was top shot power punching. Top shot, one shot at a time power punch. And Canelo wasn't putting those tools in that he used to do. And Crawford, he started his steer southpaw right as he was to get out of danger a lot of times. Then he started being able to, touch on Canelo a bit more. Mm-hmm. And so, as I said, off of game plan, it was beautiful for Crawford. Mm-hmm. Beautiful for him to focus and all that. And that was a very competitive Canelo. And the last thing I want to say about that, though, is Canelo, to a degree, it's been a while ago, probably ever since the last Triple G fight to me, he fell into a pattern to where he got comfortable in his fighting style of top power punching a guy, kind of having ring control on him, kind of close to a decision because the guy didn't want contact with him like that. Mm-hmm. Because Canelo was always going to be a threat. He was always going to be a physical threat when you went to punch and encounter him. Mm-hmm. And he felt comfortable with that because most guys would over-move with him. But mm-hmm. for the most part, or they would kind of not know what to do, stand and slug like Jaime Munguia to a degree, Edward Belanga. Canelo said it himself. And I think the product. He said my body couldn't do it. And I could realize this. Canelo's been fighting professional boxing since he was 15 years old. And that takes a toll on the body, because of training. All of that has been nonstop since he was 15 years old. So, I all kudos to both fighters.
Okay. Bob, what'd you think?
I got to kind of agree. I don't know that, the fight lived up to a lot of the hype. I thought it was a good fight. I think people were, given the prospect of who these two guys were, I think they were, hoping for, an Ali Frazier kind of affair, but that was never going to be, the way it was, just because of the style, because of the age and everything. But I thought Crawford fought a smart fight. I think he boxed well. And Canelo just, I don't know, he looked like he was trying to power punch, but he couldn't seem to let go, on some of the combinations that he's, well known for, and, cutting off the ring and that sort of thing. I just didn't see that in this fight. But I think they both fought a good fight. And from what I understand, the next fight we might be able to look forward to after this is a fight between Crawford and David Benavidez, who was, I guess, very impressive in his last outing. So, at least we have something to go on. I don't know that Canelo is going to call it halt. He may. But Crawford is still in a good position where he can have some big fights now and maybe even down the road.
Okay. Now, I've saved the last one for our friendly baker from Northport, Tony the Pie Maker. Tony, would you like to talk about this fight?
Ladies and gentlemen at the Fightword Radio Network, I'm not going to make any excuses. I'm not going to make any opinions. I'm going to open my basket, take it like a man. I'm going to eat the poo because I deserve every bit of that pie that I sent out to all the boys on the radio network. So I'm going to eat this one. I'm going to take it like a man. I'm not happy about it, but I'll leave it at that. I'm going to finish eating while you guys finish up on that one.
Okay.
You're not alone, Tony. You're not alone. I'm with you on that one. I will play right next to you. So.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate the companionship. And I need a little help eating this one.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll give you a chance to get off that pot. But how about Molly McCann and what's her name? Who do you think Molly McCann would have for her next fight? Tony?
Molly McCann, I don't know if Fundora's in that class or not. I heard Fundora.
After his last outing, he might be.
Yeah. I don't know if I should say anything. I got enough right now to eat.
All right. Z?
Gotta wait to see. Gotta wait to see. I still think it's a bit of a development with him, but we have to wait to see before any big names. To be honest.
Right.
That's my opinion.
Okay. Hey, Bob, during the week, I'd ask you if you could do a spot on Ricky Hatton. Could you enlighten our listeners on that?
Absolutely. Be glad to. Former multi-world champion Ricky Hatton was sadly found dead in his home in England on, that was a week ago today, actually. It was the 14th of September. They had not, his neighbors had not seen him leave the flat he was living in, and so they did a wellness check, and the police officials found Ricky had passed away. They believed that there was nothing that looked suspicious, so we're still waiting to get official word from the medical examiner as to what the exact cause was. Some are speculating that it was natural causes, a heart attack or something like that. Others have speculated that perhaps it was a suicide. I guess he had really tough days, during his final days as far as being depressed and, using alcohol, that sort of thing. So not a very glorious death, but he did have a very glorious career. If you were a fan of boxing in the late 1990s or the early 2000s, this was a guy that you used to watch all the time on Showtime. He was one of the Showtime favorites. He turned pro back in 1997, fought most of his early fights in England. He traveled a little bit, but most of the bigger fights were held in England before sellout crowds. I mean, people were just absolutely gaga with him, in his career. He ran his record all the way up to, he was 32-0 in 2003 when he met his first real name opponent, which was the former welterweight champion of the world, Cool Vince Phillips, who, by the way, is enshrined in our Florida Boxing Hall of Fame. He was able to get a unanimous decision over Vince Phillips. That was in April of 2003. He would move on, continuing to up his talents and up his fights, and then finally, as a record of 39-0 on June 4th, 2005, in Manchester, England, he took on the reigning champion, Kostya Tszyu, who at that point was also a very big fan favorite, was seen on HBO and Showtime quite a bit. And he retired. Kostya Tszyu was retired in the 11th round. They stopped the fight, and Ricky Hatton won the IBF and ring light welterweight titles. Mm-hmm. He could go on to defend his belt. He won, it was 4 times, including a unanimous 12-round decision over Juan Urango, who was a very popular South Florida fighter for many years. Then it was his final successful title defense. In that run, he was 43-2 when he took on Jose Luis Castillo, and he won a 4th-round knockout, and again retained his title, moved up to 43-0. And then in December of 2007, he took on the ultimate challenge at that point of his career, the ultimate challenge in the world, facing off against the undefeated Floyd Mayweather Jr. That took place again on December 8th, 2007. That was at the MGM Grand Garden Arena, and it was a good fight, action fight. Ricky came out and did the best he could, but Floyd Mayweather's hand speed was just too much, and the fight was stopped in the 10th round. Ricky was stopped in the 10th round, and that was his first loss as a professional, dropping his title to Mayweather Jr. Mm-hmm. He would come back in May of 2008, the next year, back in his home of England. He took on Juan Lescano, won a unanimous 12-round decision. He won the IBO light welterweight title in that fight. He defended that light welterweight title on November 22nd of 2008. Again, in Las Vegas, he knocked out multi-world champion Paulie Malignaggi in 11 rounds. And that would be his last successful win. He was 45-1 when on May of 2009, back in Las Vegas, he fought the great Manny Pacquiao and was stopped in the 2nd round, which gave Pacquiao the IBO light welterweight title. And you may remember that knockout. It was one of those where Pacquiao hit him with a shot, and it was almost like slow motion. Ricky was out before he ever hit the canvas, and it was a good many minutes before they were able to get him up, revive him, and make sure he was okay. But it was one of the more spectacular knockouts in the long career of Manny Pacquiao. He would fight one more battle. He took on Vyacheslav Sichenko on November 24th of 2012 back in England. Good hard-fought fight, but the referee stopped the contest in the 9th round, and Ricky lost his final fight. His outstanding career was 45 wins, just 3 losses, and he scored 32 wins by way of knockout. And he spent many years, he worked as a boxing manager and a trainer for a long time. And he had his own business company, Hatton Promotions, over in England. And he was a very charitable gentleman. He was a patron of the Manchester-based Christian charity Barnabas that offered support to homeless and vulnerable people by opening up the drop-in center. So this is a good young man. And again, the thing that everybody's waiting on to find out what it was exactly that happened to him. He was scheduled to make a comeback at the age of 49, believe it or not. He was, I think they actually wound up signing a contract. He was going to fight a young man from Dubai, who I actually had the pleasure of announcing our flight over in Dubai, a young man by the name of Isa Alda. And they were both going to be fighting each other in their 40s. And he just felt, Ricky said it was something he wanted to do and was looking forward to. It would have been maybe an entertaining fight, but unfortunately we'll never know, as that fight, of course, was scrapped. And Ricky passed away just last week, or a week ago today. So way too young for 46. It's very sad to see a guy like that go. And I know everybody that watched, was a fan of boxing, mostly from the 2000s, early 2000s on. He was in a lot of great action fights, especially fought a lot, as I said, on Showtime, and always gave fans their money's worth. There was never, ever a boring Ricky Hatton fight.
Okay. Well, thanks a lot. Hey, Z, we mentioned, or you mentioned earlier, about a possible Crawford Benavidez fight coming up. Let's say that's signed today. What's your thoughts on who would win?
First, I don't know if this, right? I don't think Crawford would take that fight right now. I don't know if Crawford would take it, but who would win? I was going to pick Benavidez. Benavidez is heavy.
Right.
So I'm going to pick him size-wise. Just as sharp as Crawford is, I just can't. I said this. You said before about Canelo and everything, but I just can't. I can't. Like Benavidez is a little too tall, and right now I don't even know if Benavidez can match up with.
I'll put you right in. Okay. We in?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. I'm trying to get you in. Hang up. I'll call you right back. Yeah. But right now, I can't do it in the middle of the show here. Yeah, no, I'm going to do it Wednesday night, though. Answer the goddamn phone. Hello?
Hello?
Okay, now I can put you in. Come on, damn it. Hey guys, we're joined by Caden. Sorry for we had a little glitch here in the studio, but let me ask you, Tony, what do you think about Crawford and Benavidez?
That is one I am not going to eat a basket on.
Yeah.
I'm going with Z 100% on that one. That's Benavidez fights Crawford. Crawford loses.
Okay. All right, Bob.
Yeah, I gotta make it a hat trick here on the panel because I agree. I think Benavidez is just he's what Canelo may have been 10 years ago. He's big, he's strong, he's aggressive and a good boxer as well. But I just don't see Bud being able to stand up to a younger man with that kind of power, that kind of size. It may happen because, what they say about things in boxing, it's what puts butts in seats. That's how you get paid.
That's right.
So, it may turn into a situation where, they have to have that fight in order to make the money that they want to have. But, if I was Crawford, I'd try and avoid that for as long as I could.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Caden, let's go back over to your side. Rafa Garcia, TKO'd Jared Gordon. What's your thoughts on that one?
I didn't see that one. I don't know much about his opponent. I do know Jared Gordon. Jared Gordon fought Paddy Pimblett not too long ago in a fight where I really thought Jared Gordon actually might have beaten Paddy Pimblett, but I did not see his most recent fight of TKO. But I thought he was going to be on the up and up, but I guess not.
Okay. Caden, I just got something that came over the wire here. I'm supposed to ask you, how good was your mother's chicken pot pie tonight?
I got it right here in front of me. A big bowl. I got the entire half of the pie. I'm going to eat the other half after the show. I think it's better every time.
You tell
I
me.
got some pie too.
You tell me that Brady's not there to eat the other half?
But Brady, I forgot. Never mind. I guess I'm only eat this half.
Yeah. All right, let me ask you one more. Alex Hernandez and Delgado. I'm sorry, Diego Ferreira.
Diego, I can see him fighting, moving up to fight Hamza Chimaev in the future. I don't know who the other guy is. I don't know who the opponent will be. But in terms of Anthony Hernandez, I think we see him fighting a guy like Dricus Duplessis, Shavkat Rachmanov, Kamaru Usman, stuff like that. I think that would be the most intelligent next step for him.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Tony, what do you think about Boots Ennis fight coming up with Limey?
Is it officially signed now?
Oh yeah, it's in fact we're in the midst of I have a call into Eddie Hearn production to get tickets for two of our on-air personalities to get in to see it.
In this particular fight, I'm going to be probably leaning towards Boots on this one, even though I feel that Boots is kind of coming near his ending point. But actually, I said that a year ago, but I think that he'll be able to get through this one. I think this one will come up. He might have some trouble with this one. I think he'll do all right.
Mm-hmm. Okay, what do you think, Z?
I think this is a fight where Luke Simmons is moving up to 154 pounds from welterweight.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a fight that to showcase that, to make him feel, to get his comfortability up and just to fight at a new division. I think it'll be more interesting to see what happens after.
Mm-hmm.
If this is a tough fight, well, it'd be more interesting to see what comes after. But I think that this fight here is kind of set up to showcase him at 154.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What do you think, Bob?
I think I'd like to see it happen. I'd like to, see him, get, like he just said, get comfortable at 154. Keep on getting better, keep on improving, keep on learning his craft. But he's a good fighter, and I think he's got the opportunity in his career to provide a lot of excitement. I'm looking forward to seeing him continue.
Okay. Let me ask you, let me get one more over here. Caden, I know I'm going to screw this name up. Inoue, the Japanese fighter in Barreco. Caden.
So for me, I don't know much about that one. If it's in a way the boxer, I would think that'd be a better.
I probably put that in. All right, here's one for you. Diego Lopez got a TKO over Jan Silva. What was the story?
That was a crazy one as well. Going into that fight, I mean, you got to think tensions are high. This is two of Brazil's biggest stars right now, fighting in Brazil in Rio de Janeiro, and it was one of those fights in the atmosphere, like when the building it's electric. You know what I mean? Like you feel it in the air. You can see it through the screen. You know what I mean? The Brazil fans are always so special. And one thing that I really appreciated about this fight was Diego Lopez's determination. He didn't give up. I thought John Silva fought well. He did get knocked out cold. And honestly, now that I think about it, it was spinning elbow knockout, second round. That is 2 weeks in a row we've had spinning elbow knockouts. And, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, there was 2 in a row. 2 in a row, and 3 on the same card. And that's crazy. These spinning elbows are coming out of nowhere. This one, especially, John Silva, again, it looked he was doing well towards the fight. So it's walking down, hitting him with good shots. That first round was very balanced. That second round, John Silva's hunting him because he left himself open. You see him, he's kind of, he pushed him up against the gate and he rushes forward, hands down. He's hands down, rushing forward at all times. So I think Diego Lopez saw that, and he's had some brawls against some technical fighters, some great fighters like the likes of Alexander Volkanovski. So I think you can see those little technical differences like that. See, I'm gonna hit him with something like a spinning elbow. I'm gonna hit him with a spinning back fist. I'm gonna cast him with his hands down, stuff like that. And that's exactly what happened, and it was perfect. Diego Lopez, I think we'll definitely see him be champion one day. Volkanovski's he's good, but he can only be on top for so long. And Diego Lopez will be there waiting at the door when it's his time.
Okay. All right. Let's go over here again. Z, what do you think about Chris Eubank and Conor Benn coming up 11-5?
The rematch.
Yeah.
The first fight was, I really, really liked the first fight. Exciting fight. Both guys came to fight. The size and reach on Conor Benn. And Conor Benn, he got in with the speed and he has pretty good pop. With that said, though, I think that it depends how Eubank has an age, how much is aged. Just depend, I think everything's on Eubank right now. If he still has sort of the same as the first fight, I think he kind of be similar. Conor Benn's the guy who's going to come straight at you. He's going to throw very, very hard exact combinations. At times, Conor Benn doesn't move his head, and he doesn't bring his hands back. He's not defensively responsible, and that's a lot of times is before he attacks and after he attacks, and that's when Chris Eubank was catching him. So And I don't see him immediately changing that up.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the key to him winning, to kind of change the rhythm of what he does on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I would lean toward Chris Eubank again, depending how much he's in.
Okay. All right, Bob, I got one for you. Being our historian, Glendy Golovkin says he wants to return. Is that a possibility? Or is it a need for cash?
Oh, it's so hard to know for sure what the what the drive is or the expectancy is for these fighters. Once they get up in age and they're not fighting top fights anymore, they retire. They either are bored or broke or a combination of both, and then you often see these guys come back just like Pacquiao did not too long ago. It depends on the opponent. It depends on the situation. But you know what they always say, that the last thing that a fighter loses is his punch. Your speed, your reflexes, your boxing ability, all that can go down pretty much down the drain with you. Before you're done, you probably are still going to be able to hit the guy and then hurt him if you're able to get to him. That's the whole thing. I think it's possible. I wasn't real big on Manny doing it. I kind of, was turning my nose down to that just because I didn't want to see him get hurt. And I'd be interested to see what Golovkin has left, if anything, when he decides to come back. I'm sure it would be a situation where he would have to come back to fight, a tune-up fight or two before he can take on any potential champion or something like that. But, he's one of those guys that I think that if he's still got that natural power that we saw all those years, he could come back and make some noise. Again, I'm going to say it again, just like I do every time. Every time one of these guys who's retired and gets out of the game, I hate to see these guys try to come back, because the odds are just so much higher that you're going to fail or get hurt as it is compared to that you're going to win and be able to keep going and making a bunch of money. So that's, boxing has been like that from day one. Everybody has tried to come back at one point except for Rocky Marciano. He's about the only one who never did. He retired undefeated heavyweight champion and stayed retired before his untimely death in a plane crash. But I'll be interested to see. I would be interested to watch a Golovkin, comeback fight. Again, believing it's going to be something fairly easy in the beginning, if it does happen.
Great. What do you think, Z?
Yeah, it's something I definitely know about fighting radio in your career, and the chances of you getting hurt are definitely increased. But it's interesting because in the same thing, another thing Bob mentioned with Pacquiao, and I think Pacquiao had very, very good timing and picked the right opponent. He picked Barrios in the thin welterweight. At the moment, you have a thin welterweight division. So right now, Pacquiao could come back and do what he needs. He could kind of reclaim some glory in there. Well, right now, the middleweight division is kind of thin. So I think Golovkin maybe thinking that he could come in and kind of reclaim some sort of glory in the middleweight division, because it's not any real big names in there right now.
Right.
And he doesn't see any legitimate, threats that used to be around. So maybe he's thinking that he could kind of get in and, do what Pacquiao did. And can't fault the man for, making money.
Okay.
I'm sorry, guys. I have to leave after
Yeah.
granddaughter home.
Okay.
My daughter and grandkids home. I'm sorry, and I will join you guys definitely next week.
Okay. Thanks, Z.
Good night,
Tony, what do you think?
Thank you.
Hey, Tony, what do you think?
My
Triple G.
opinion on it is
this is that Turkey Al-Sheikh kind of came into the picture here 6 months, a year ago. Starts bringing in a lot of money about, who we all want to see, try to make these fights happen. You're seeing all these people come out of retirement to fight to get money. You got Mike Tyson that came back in. You got, I call him Julio Iglesias, but he came in, he fought. Mayweather has just been an announcement. He's talking about coming out of retirement and actually putting his record on the line for another one. These people, they need the money. Turkey Al-Sheikh's making the money happen. And Golovkin's still a big favorite of a lot of people, especially mine. He's one of my top 5 for sure of all time. The thing is with him, is that he's been training a lot of people here recently, kind of behind the scenes, and staying in shape and so forth. So it ain't going to be that much of a comeback for him because he's been staying in the shape, boxing, sparring, teaching,
Right.
and staying in shape. So I think it's a great idea. I mean, I agree. I don't want him to get hurt. I know he's older, but he's one of those guys that I think could pull it off, kind of like Pacquiao. I think he's still got the hit. He's obviously, they're saying he's got the hardest chin of the era, and I would love to see it. I hope he does come back and clean up the middleweight division.
Okay, Bob, what's your thoughts?
As far as Triple G is concerned,
Yes.
well, I kind of agree. I think that there's an opportunity because the middleweight division is not exactly red hot right now. And even though he's 42 years old, it's not like he's going to be, coming back on a 10-year layoff like, George Foreman did or something like that.
Right.
I mean, his last fight was in September of 2022 when he lost that decision to Canelo Alvarez. And it wasn't a terrible loss. I mean, it was just one of those things. Just Canelo just seemed to, it just had his number as far as being a boxer. But the fact that he has been staying in shape, he has been working out a bit, and you're talking about a three-year comeback, which a lot of guys have done that far removed from 3 years.
Sure.
So. I just, the Sheikh wants to bring him over to Saudi Arabia. He knows he's going to get paid a lot of money, and perhaps he comes back and tunes up maybe, and that works out okay. He takes on a real out-named fighter maybe in Saudi Arabia, and he takes a nice pot of cash home with him. So it could work out for him. If he does decide to do it, I wish him all the best.
Hey, Bob, you're pretty much you're tuned into the business end of the deal with all the announcing you've done and places you've been. There was something came out in one of the rags that Turkey Al-Sheikh and Dana White may be clashing soon, and Eddie Hearn thinks that if that does happen, that it'll be the with Turkey will win and Dana will lose. What's your thoughts?
Well, Dana White is another one of those guys. Like some of the players, you can't quite give him away. Although the Sheikh is he's got plenty of money in his bank. He can burn money if he decides he really wants to. But that's I don't know. Sometimes as they say, if you have too many plumbers working on the drain, you're going to stop up the drain even more. So having these power guys, on their end of the fight game, I don't know if it's a good thing for the sport. I'm not a big fan of these guys, getting into bidding wars and all that kind of thing.
Right.
Maybe it winds up being better for some of the players who get more fights. But I don't know. I don't have a good feeling about the outcome of that whole situation.
Caden, David Martinez and Jared took down Jared Gordon. What's your thoughts?
I didn't hear anything about that one.
Yeah, it was a pretty messy fight that Martinez didn't take too long to. It was like the second round. He had him out and choked him out, and he had to give it up. I bet Tatiana Suarez and Amanda Lunar.
I didn't hear anything about that one.
Tony, you keep the book, right, Tony?
Yeah, but I'm still finishing my chow.
Well, okay.
I have no room to talk.
Put him in for a 20% discount this week on his paycheck.
Yeah.
All right, this is the last time you're going to get this. And if you better get this one right, Aljamain Sterling against Diego Lopez. What's the story there, Caden?
I can see it. I think, it's been a while since we've seen Aljamain Sterling fight at the top level of that division. For a while there, I thought we weren't going to see Aljo fight at the top level of any division ever again. I thought he was just going to retire and train Marab and go down that route, which I would have liked, but I do also think that, Aljamain's not just some guy that, his body's worn out and just can't fight anymore. He can 100% still fight. You know what I mean? He had a run. He had a bad run of fights against some great fighters, and he bounced back against Brian Ortega. Now I think if he fights a guy like Diego Lopez, that'll be a rough, scrappy fight. I hope he wins. He's the American. I hope he wins. But Diego Lopez is a freak, man. He's an animal. We saw him knock John Silva cold. We saw him wrestle and roll around with Dan Ige that at the time was 12 pounds heavier than him. We saw Diego Lopez hold his own a little bit against Alexander Volkanovski. So I just think for right here, right now, maybe 5 years ago, Aljamain Sterling was winning this fight. Okay. Right now, I truly think that Diego Lopez is going to win that fight. I really think the only person in that division that could beat Diego Lopez would be a guy like Marzvar Evelev or Volkanovski. Those are the only guys.
Okay. Tony, what do you think of Oscar Colazaro taking Fundora out this week?
The female Fundora, or
the female Gabrielle.
Oh, Gabrielle, yeah. I actually was shocked. I really never would have guessed that one. I was going to say earlier that you put Gabrielle up against Clarissa Shields. I'd pick her over Clarissa Shields. I'm shocked that she lost. I'm going to just say it was a bad night because that girl, she's tough girl, but she'll make a comeback. That won't be anything. It may have been just a bad night, but she'll be back.
Okay. Hey, Bob, there's a lot of talk about Shakar Stevens and how he's risen to the top. Will he be the kingmaker in time to come?
I think he's got a real good shot. I think he's a very talented fighter. He's been doing the right things, putting in his time and learning his craft. I think he could be a top level fighter. I think it's a little too early yet to make a final call on that, but I think we're going to find out, relatively soon what he's got to offer. Really, when he gets in a real tough scrap. But I could see him becoming a champion and wreaking some havoc in the boxing world.
Okay. All right, Caden. You mentioned this before, so let's go ahead. Alex Volkanovski is called out Lerone Murphy.
I saw that. I saw that when I saw him. He was calling out Lerone Murphy right after Lerone Murphy. He was one of the spinning elbow knockouts earlier. He knocked out Aaron Pico. That was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. But great performance by Lerone Murphy. He's a guy who's been in the UFC for, probably like 5, 6, 7 years now. And every single time I've seen him fight, I've only seen him fight 1 or 2 times. He's explosive. He gets to the point. He could benefit more for like on the ground stuff. You know, like right now his ground game isn't too hot. It isn't the best.
Mm-hmm.
I think Volkanovski has better. I think in that fight, Volkanovski wins as well.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it's just another Diego Lopez type situation now. Until I see any substance of Volkanovski slowing down, or I see him, just slowing down. He's getting older. There's no holes in his game. There's nothing that Lerone Murphy does better than Volkanovski. That's why I'm going to have to go with Volk. The only thing that can fight Volk in the ass is his age. And we every single fight now is that we can't hold him to the same standard as his last fight because we don't know how rapid he's going to be deteriorating. This is a guy who's been knocked out twice pretty viciously. One was a head kick knockout. One was Ilia Topuria, just flatlining him. But I'm still, regardless, going to choose Volk. We'll see. After this fight, after he fights Lerone Murphy, it'll give me a better gauge on where he's at. I think that Diego Lopez fight he had a couple months back really surprised me. I thought Volkanovski was never going to be champion again. I thought it was Diego Lopez's time right then and there. But I guess not. Volkanovski continues to surprise me. Every single time I watch him fight, he surprises me. So I'm going to have to go for Volk now.
Okay. Now for a PSA announcement for everybody's general knowledge. I'm sure that you'll be shocked to hear that Conor McGregor has been forced to pull out of the Irish presidency race. He wasn't able to get either the political or financial backing, so he's been forced out of the race. And I know you'll all be upset about it, and if you want to send him a card, you can do that.
Shucks.
Yeah. I know Tony. He always asks about cross-dressing. Now, I'm not sure whether it had something to do with one of your fighter friends or not.
Thank you for throwing a chair in a bus.
Let's see. We got there. Hey, Bob.
How about this one? You got Floyd Schofield that just signed yesterday or Friday to fight Jojo Diaz November 19th.
Ooh.
That's going to be a good one. I'm telling you, Schofield is going to put him on the map. Guaranteed.
Good. What'd you think of, Tony? What'd you think of Yoel Romero calling out David Till?
Honestly, I didn't hear about that one.
Yeah.
Was that?
That's Yoel Romero calling out Darren Till. The UFC fighters, they box now.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. What do you think about it? What's your thoughts on that one, Caden?
I think it's great. I've always loved Yoel Romero. When Yoel Romero, he fought Adesanya back in 2020, 2021, I think. And it was a bad fight. That was the only fight where I watched it and it was just the most boring, horrible fight ever. But you watch his other fights against Luke Rockhold and Paulo Costa. I mean, he's put on some absolute wars. And you look at Darren Till, and Darren Till, he was in the UFC, but he never fulfilled himself. You know what I mean? Like, he could have been something good. His best win was against Dan Hooker. After that Dan Hooker fight, that was his ceiling. He could never go or be better than that win, sadly. So now we're here boxing. He's still like 30, 31, under 35 years old, I think, where Yoel Romero, he's timeless, by the way. I mean, he's like a medical anomaly. If you could take like 20 minutes, I could take 20 minutes out of your day to tell you about Yoel Romero being like a straight up medical anomaly. Like the tissue in his face is different from other human beings. He's like geared to fight. The dude's something. He's a crazy dude. But now he's like 45, 46 years old. So I still think he can beat Darren Till. He's the better fighter.
Mm-hmm.
But Darren Till looks pretty dang good in his last fight. He looks fast. And Yoel Romero, he's a 46, 45-year-old man.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to have to go with Darren Till if that happens.
Okay. All right, Caden. Paulo Acosta and DeRuyter. What's your thoughts on that one?
That's the Ritter, man.
The Ritter.
The Ritter's got that all the way. The Ritter's got that all the way. I like Paulo Acosta. Maybe you throw this fight around 4 years ago, and I'd say Paulo Acosta all the way. I used to not give the Ritter his flowers, but now I've seen what he can do. I respect his jiu-jitsu. I respect his game, and he's a beast. And he's a dude that could really give someone like Hamza at least some sort of problem on the ground. His stand-up game isn't the best. I think Paulo Costa could definitely do something there to take advantage of Dorita's, sufficient striking. But Paulo Costa looks pretty good in his last fight. Dorita, man, he's blazing a trail to the top, and I don't think Paulo Costa is going to be the guy to stop him, but he could be. Because Costa, you never know what he can do. If he's really taking the fight seriously, I think Paulo Costa is a top fighter.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Hey, Bob, Katie Taylor came out this weekend and announced that she's a champ in recess. You want to explain that to our listeners?
That I only heard of very, very rarely, but I guess it's a situation where there has to be some kind of a reason why a champion would have to, back out of, not just back out of a particular fight, but back out of boxing. It could be, a medical thing that where you need time to recover surgically from something that they don't want to, talk about. It's kind of personal. Or maybe a legal situation that they have to get straightened out. But basically, as far as I know, the rules that it allows if there's a belt that's in question, then two fighters would be allowed to fight for that belt. Always preferably the number one and number two, and then they would be like a temporary champion, while still enjoying all the benefits of being a champion until the champion in question decides to come back and then have to fight the interim champion basically to get the belt back. That's as far as I know how it works.
Okay, great, thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to bring up a little thing here before we get off. Everybody knows and loves our good friend Dr. Tony here, and Tony's been suffering with some medical problems for a short period of time. Hopefully, that'll be resolved in the very near future. But Tony, I really appreciate you taking the time to be on with us, even when you're not feeling your best, and but you always do a great job. So with that,
thank you, sir. I appreciate it. I at least found out exactly what it is now. So that's 75% of the battle. So just finish it off here in a couple of weeks and be good. But thank you very much.
Yeah.
Really appreciate that.
Okay, I just with that, why don't you lead us out?
Great show again. Like I said, no excuses, no opinions, no nothing. I eat a big stand basket. I honestly didn't see that one coming, and I went out on a limb. I'm glad I almost bet a lot of money on it and didn't at the last minute. Thank God. But
You there? Okay. Caden, before I let you go, I don't know if you realize it, while you were out fishing, the Eagles did win. And, of course, there's always trying to follow the line. The line, the over-under was 3 and 5. And Vegas made a potful on that last 3-second field goal block and run back for touchdown. So,
I know, right?
yes, sir. 4-0. 4-0.
Thank you. Go Birds. Go Birds.
That's right.
Mr. Tony, thank you every single week for coming on the show. Always well prepared. Mr. Bob, exactly the exact same thing. We got all love and happiness to all my Fightnwords fans. Excuse me for coming on 30 minutes late. I was out there in those Gulf waters, just absolutely reeling and then smashing up the fish out there.
There you go.
But I hope everyone has a great night and a better week, and I'll see you next time.
Okay, Bob.
Yes, and before we go, I just wanted to invite everyone, as you may well know, since some of our listeners know, that I'm a very proud inductee and currently the vice president of the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame. We are starting to wind down our procedures for taking in suggestions for the class of 2026, which will be announced this coming January, and they will be inducted in June of 2026. If you have anybody that you would like to nominate, anybody in the sport, it doesn't have to be a fighter. It can be a manager, a trainer, a judge, a referee, whoever, anybody that you know and love and would like to see honored. We would be very happy if you would send us the name of the person and maybe a little bit of their background and why you think they should be inducted. Nothing major, that's just something short. And we can then take it and put it with the rest of the names that we already have. And it'll come into consideration in the next month or two. But you can go to, you can email FLABOHF, that's Flab Hawk, at AOL.com. FLABHOF at AOL.com. We'd love to hear from you and get somebody that you know and love perhaps into the hall. Frank, thanks for having me on. Always a pleasure to be with the other guests. And look forward to talking to you again soon.
Great. Thanks, Bob. Ladies and gentlemen, these programs are brought to you each and every night of the week in grateful appreciation to the men and women of the United States Armed Forces, men and women police and fire services. When you're out there and you see somebody in uniform, please let them know you know they're there. Please let them give them a handshake, a wink, or anything you can do. These programs are dedicated to those who have lost their lives in the line of duty. Deputy Robert Anthony Carroll, Patrolman David Curtis, Patrolman Jeffrey Colcap, Patrolman Jeffrey Yazowitz, Sergeant Thomas Batinger, San Diego Officer Mike Handler, Sergeant Tom Wilson, Charlotte County Sheriff's Department, Detective Randy Bell, Detective Ricky Childers, Patrolman Charlie Condit, Tarpon Springs Police Department, Chief Mike Godwin, Philadelphia Fire Department, Lieutenant Joyce Craig Lewis, Philadelphia Fire Department, Sergeant James O'Connor, Philadelphia Police Department, Sergeant Chris Levake, Hillsborough County Sheriff's Department, Lieutenant Mike Zerba, Newcastle County Police, Patrolman Anafa Crispin, Lakeland PD, Deputy Josh Meyer, Nassau County Sheriff's Department, Captain Matt Laterno, Philadelphia Fire Department, Captain Chris Leach, Wilmington Fire Department, Lieutenant Ardith Hope, Wilmington Fire Department, Lieutenant Jerry Ficus, Wilmington Fire Department, Chief Jimmy Ford, Wilmington Fire Department, Chief Al Hogo, Longbow Key Police Department, Deputy Mike Hargrove, Pinellas County Sheriff's Department, Trooper Chelsea Richards, Florida Highway Patrol, Trooper Joe Bullock, Florida Highway Patrol, Trooper Zachary Ben, Florida Highway Patrol, Sergeant Chris Fitzgerald, Philadelphia Police Department, Sergeant Ramon Mendez, Philadelphia Police Department, Chief Corey Compantier, Buffalo Creek Fire Department, Deputy Rodney Ronozinski, Manatee County Sheriff's Department. My brothers and sisters, though you may be 10-7 at this point in time, sometime we'll be 10-10 at the table of the Lord. Until that time, may the rose rise up to meet you. May the winds be always at your back. May the rain fall softly on your fields, the sun shine lightly on your face. Until we meet again, may the good Lord keep you and your family always in the palm of his hand. Good night. God bless and have a great week. I gotta go pee. Oh. End stream. That's what. Cancel.